Hey, it's Zach, the one and only, sharing the moment I lived through and the story I've learned from others. There are moments in life where nothing is technically wrong. You are functioning, you are copying, you are doing what you have always done. But something feels off, not broken, just misaligned. This episode is about one of those moments. The moment I realized the version of myself I trusted for years could no longer carry me forward. For a long time, I knew exactly who I was, or at least I thought I did. I was the reliable one, the calm one, the one who didn't cause trouble, the one who handled things quietly. That identity works. It helped me survive pressure. It helped me stay steady. It helped me avoid conflict. It helped me keep moving. And because it worked, I never questioned it. From the outside, things were fine. Responsibility grew, trust increased, people relied on me more. Those were good things. But internally, something started to feel heavy. Not overwhelming, just heavier than before. It was confusing because this identity had always been my strength. So, why did it suddenly feel limiting? I didn't immediately accept that something needed to change. Instead, I resisted quietly. I told myself, this is just another phase. I just need more rest. This is normal. I tightened my grip on the familiar because letting go of an identity feels like losing protection. No one really talks about this part. Outgrowing an identity doesn't feel empowering. It feels confusing. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like standing between two versions of yourself without knowing which one to trust. You are not who you were, but you are not sure who you are becoming. That in between space is unsettling. The cracks didn't show up dramatically. They show up in small moments. When familiar response didn't feel right anymore, when old coping habits feel forced, when saying I'm fine feel dishonest, those moments pile up quietly. Letting go of an old identity feel like a loss, not because it was bad, but because it protected me. That version of me got me through earlier chapter of my life. So acknowledging it no longer feel ungrateful. It feel like betraying a part of myself. There is a kind of grief that does not come from losing something external. It comes from realizing you can't rely on the same internal structure anymore. No ceremony, no closure, just quiet sadness. And that grief deserves space. Once I admitted the old identity didn't fit, I did not immediately find a new one. I was just standing there, without a clear map, without label, without certainty. That was uncomfortable because I lack clarity. I didn't talk about this with many people, not because I was hiding, but because it is hard to explain when you don't fully understand it yourself. How do you tell someone, I'm okay, but also not okay in a very specific way? So I stay quiet. Something changed though. I become more aware when I was acting from habit instead of truth. More aware when I was defaulting instead of choosing. That awareness didn't fix anything, but it corrected friction. and friction create movement. There was fear too. Fear that changing means becoming unrecognizable. Fear of disappointing others. Fear of losing what made me dependable. Fear of stepping into something undefined. That fear kept me cautious. This wasn't a breakdown story. No collapse, no crisis. Just a quiet realization that something internally needed to shift. And those moments are easy to ignore. But they matter. I stay in that in-between space for a while. Not rushing forward. Not climbing backwards. Just noticing. That pause taught me something important. Sometimes growth does not look like movement. It looks like stillness. The hardest part wasn't letting go. It was not replacing it immediately. I keep wanting a new label, a new explanation, a new version of myself I could point to and say, this is who I am now. But nothing came, just space. And space is uncomfortable when you were used to structure. I noticed how often I tried to perform familiarity, to act like the old version of me because it was easier for others. It kept things predictable. It avoided questions. But every time I did that, something inside me tightened, as if my body knew I was lying slightly. At some point, I stopped fighting the discomfort. Not because I have answer, but because I trusted the process more. I let the old version of me rest, not disappear, not be erased, just rest. That felt kinder than forcing change. I didn't announce anything, but small things shifted. I spoke slower. I paused before agreeing. I allowed uncertainty to show. Those changes weren't strategic. They were honest. And honesty felt lighter. Strength used to mean consistency. Now, it started to mean responsiveness. Responding to what I was feeling. Responding to what no longer fit. Responding to subtle signal inside me. That redefinition didn't happen overnight. It is still happening. I realized something important. Identity isn't something you decide once. It evolves. It shapes. It reshapes. Trying to lock in too early creates friction. Letting it breathe creates alignment. There was relief in not knowing who I was becoming, because not knowing meant I wasn't forcing myself into another box. I was allowing myself to change naturally. That felt respectful to every version of me so far. This episode exists because I allowed that space. If I have rushed to define myself again, I wouldn't have noticed the shift. I would have missed the lesson. Sometimes the work is simply staying present while something internally rearranges itself. I carry forward more patience with myself, more willingness to pause, more trust in slow change, and less pressure to have everything figured out. That feel healthier. This wasn't a story about reinventing myself. It was about noticing when something familiar no longer fit and allowing it to rest without rushing to replace it. If this story resonates with you and you would like to keep listening as this journey unfolds, you can follow the channel. I will be sharing more moments like this one episode at a time. I will see you in episode 8. Bye.